Hi, hello. I'm very pleased to be here and really grateful to be here to speak with you about motion capture. I'm very much an enthusiast for motion capture and I'll go on about it today, but hopefully you can see later on, after we've gone through everything, that the likes of games development and design courses, which you are maybe studying here, really feed into the wider industry as a whole, and really is part of everything you might find in smartphones, in entertainment, both in movies, TV, games, across the board. So don't underestimate the power of this. I'm going to start off with a video. People may have seen this. This is about the avatars activation, and then I'll talk a little bit about it after the video. Has anyone seen this advert before? Has anyone seen the show? Do you know, you've seen the advert, you've seen the show. Do you know if, that all the performers on that were virtual? They were all avatars. And the music was ABBA's music, but actually during the show it was performed by a live band who were like a backing band or a stand-in for ABBA. But they created that show to bring ABBA back, you know, ABBA fans to see their favourite band again, and that's really important because it's a big show which is going to tour the world, where ultimately it's game technology which made that happen. So all the lighting in the arena was all done through game engine technologies. You might be familiar with something called D3 or Disguise, which enables you to map out an arena. All the lighting was controlled, it was DMX controlled, it was programmed by programmers, and the avatars, as they are, were motion captured and then delivered through game engine technology. I'll give you a quick intro about myself today, about Target3D. I'll talk about our mission and all that kind of corporate stuff. I'll talk a bit about the origins of motion capture. Actually, I'll show a video about that because it's quite interesting. And then some examples of where we've done motion capture in industry and in the world, and really come back to this core piece about what it means to make it. You know, we do the mechanics around motion capture, but we rely on people who do programming and game engine control to actually bring it all to life. And then at the end of that, I'll just touch on what we think is the future of MoCap and open it up to questions. So about us, we're trying to be, our mission is to deliver the best immersive and 3D technologies we can in the marketplace. And that's really comes out from our core values, where we want to be able to be trusted. So we try and provide the most unbiased advice about technology which is out there, because there's so many different ways in which you can use this tech, and really helping people understand where the variations are is really important. And we have these core values about trustworthiness, about innovation, because innovation, everything moves so fast now that we have to be on top of that. We try and be as knowledgeable as possible, but the most important one for me is the collaborative component. We can't, anything we sell or we provide is no good unless we collaborate with our customers and we help them understand how to use the tech and get into the tech. We were started 5 years ago in 2017 in the UK. We've got 3 offices around the world. I say around the world, it's UK, Spain, and New Zealand. New Zealand's a bit, it was a bit of a lucky opportunity there because an old colleague of mine wanted to set up a studio there, and we helped fund that, and so we have that reach. But in the UK and in Spain, we provide motion capture technology consultancy, which is speaking to people, what do they need and how can we solve their problems. And in the UK, we have a studio services where people come and use us for motion capture. I'm the managing director and co-founder. I started my career in terms of tech as doing IT and small business IT support, and got into motion capture by accident, really. I joined a company who were selling it. I was doing the IT, I was the IT guy, but really fell in love with motion capture and what it means and started representing it and got the opportunity to set up my own company, which sells and provides this equipment. And it's just born out of a fascination of technology. And at heart, I'm a business development person, a salesperson, so I help people really find their way into understanding tech. So I'm just going to play a little reel about some of the projects we did last year.
Rocking the funky beats with the brother DJ A Skill.
Hey, how about a wax after this?
Make me laugh. It's a good job I like you, Kevin.
So to go back to the collaborative approach, probably 99% of those projects we couldn't have done without working with other partners, agencies who are representing brands, enabling us to work with them. This next video I find it quite interesting. Again, go on about motion capture, but this is kind of like a bit of the origins of MoCap. Where did it come from? How did it kind of evolve? And it really started from rotoscoping back in the day when animators were trying to find different ways of capturing motion and re-representing that.
This walrus didn't get these dance moves on his own. They came from Cab Calloway, a 1930s jazz superstar and bandleader. Do you see it now? Cab was a source of endless inspiration for early animators who transformed his dancing into that walrus and a ghost and a very moonwalky old man of the mountain.
Old man of the mountain.
The way these moves got from real life to cartoon was a breakthrough in technology and method. It's an idea that forever changed animation when an inventor took pictures that had just started to move and made them dance. Riveting as that was, early animation had a problem. The first animated shorts didn't look right. Don't focus on the drawing. Look at the motion. See how clunky his arm move is here, and how his shoulder doesn't move realistically? Max Fleischer saw that problem too. This is him, the inventor, blowing bubbles in some of the first films that revolutionized animation. And this is the clown that did it. See how naturally Coco the Clown moves compared to the Umbrella Guy? That's where the invention called the rotoscope comes in. You can understand it from the patent application. It was a way to film real movement to create better animation. First, they filmed live action motion in the wild. For Coco the Clown, they filmed Max's brother, Dave Fleischer, dancing around in a clown costume on Max's roof. He was in front of a white sheet, for contrast. The sheet actually blew around so much that Dave almost fell off the roof, so don't try this at home. That film gave them individual frames of Coco moving around. Like in the patent, they used a projector hooked up to a car headlamp to amp up brightness, and it showed each frame on a screen with tracing paper. Then they just played it back, frame by frame, tracing what they needed. It had the creativity of animation, but the precision of live action. The results were astonishingly smooth, and lots of people noticed. The New York Times said Coco, the Inkwell Man, leaps as a human being. And it made sense. He was one. Take Cab Calloway's performance. Now, animators didn't have to guess what subtle movements came in the middle. They had a filmed guide to every frame. Later, it helped out with Superman, using photos and film to model Lois, like here. Gulliver's Travels also had hyper-real movement, inspired by real motion. When the patent expired, other animation studios followed, but Fleischer's work was more than just one invention. Now, these cartoons and other ones at the time are filled with tons of cringy stereotypes that wouldn't pass muster today, but the creativity, that is not dated at all.
Here we go.
Fleischer Studios invented the bouncing ball song, where you can follow along with the lyrics. Oh yes, there's a patent. Max and Dave patented multiplane animation as well. See how they could film the main character moving and separately move the background elements, like pictures and models. This created depth and saved animators time. It enabled gorgeous motion, like in this scene from Superman. As it evolved, Fleischer Animation mixed all these technologies with skilled artistry and improvisation. And that's why rotoscoping is a versatile tool still, whether it's inspiring some of the animation in early video games, or in its logical extension in motion capture, where real movements are given over to animators' fancy. But even that undersells their achievements a little. That Cab Calloway walrus cartoon, Minnie the Moocher, is a Betty Boop cartoon, but it is a work of art filled with infinite delights that tantalize. Scratch that. It is straight up weird, in the best way possible. Phones have lips, handkerchiefs talk, ghost skeletons get drunk, tonsils scream, the list goes on. When Cab Calloway saw himself turned into a dancing walrus, he fell to the floor laughing. An invention made that work, but it was a different type of genius that made Cab Calloway fall to the floor. You can patent a device, but you can't patent that.
Okay, so really, as we are now, what is 3D tracking? It's when we use it for animation or biomechanics, it's really understanding where something is in time and space. And so you need to understand where something starts from, so an origin point, and you place markers on someone if you've got a perimeter camera system. And from that origin point, you could derive movement. And so if you put that into a game engine, you have a start point, and everything that moves around that is what you track. And so there's different ways in which you could do motion capture and 3D tracking. You can do perimeter cameras. But what the Institute here have invested in are some inertial suits. So those are suits which have sensors which go all over the body, and they understand movement by movement of other sensors in relation to them. So if you move your hand, your elbow moves, but your torso doesn't, the system can understand that, yes, your arm's moved up, and it can sort of calculate that. And what you need to use that data is speed, so you want high frame rates in terms of capture, and accuracy, so you can reapply it onto virtual characters and models. So you can then take that information and use it elsewhere. We supply systems into all these different kind of sectors. So in addition to animation and VFX and film and TV, we do things for simulation, for training, for engineering, for validation of position in testing environments. And so our team have gone to lots of different installation environments. This is Petros calibrating this massive volume for this Hudafugel shoot. So it's this trapeze artist who wanted to capture trapeze movement as that artist was, coming down those, can't remember the term of it, to then reapply that data into some kind of an artistic expression. So that system's using a perimeter camera system where you put markers on the performer. So the performer there is wearing a suit, and where you see those green patches are several marker positions. The system has something which can understand skeletal motion, and then it can then translate that onto an avatar. This is Steve in a wind tunnel at Surrey University. They wanted to understand how wind affects objects for research. So they're just trying to understand how wind flow through miniaturized buildings affects cars and trees and cyclists. This is Verizon. So in that initial video I showed, you saw some people on some DJ decks. This was filmed in the studio. It's known as an XR studio, so it's got green screen, it's got LED, it's got backdrop. But ultimately, they've got motion capture to capture people's movement to then reapply it. This is Liam in an install at the University of West of England in a cave environment. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with caves. They're less popular these days, but it's multi-sided projection. You track one user in the cave, and based on how their head moves, the content moves in relation to them. So you can put them in virtual environments immediately. So that's all these kind of applications of tracking. And then this is Liam Payne at the BAFTAs in 2021. And I'll just touch a little bit on this prior to playing the video. Again, I come back to collaboration. This is a project we did with a company called The Round, who created an augmented reality app. They wanted to be able to, during lockdown, enable people to experience a Liam Payne performance. He was releasing a single. You signed up on the day for the BAFTAs, and you projected through your smartphone or your tablet Liam Payne on your desktop. And that was all recorded at a studio in central London prior to the BAFTAs going live. So I'll play it, and it will kind of explain it a bit better.
I haven't performed for ages. I don't even know if I could sing. We're going to find out on the night for sure.
So today we've been doing a test shoot in a motion capture studio.
We're going to be taking Liam Payne's live performance, streaming it in real time to our groundbreaking app, The Round, for live performance in augmented reality.
Streaming genuine live augmented reality performance has never been done before, not in the way we're doing it, not as like a hologram in your space being controlled. I think we've got like under 5 seconds lag between when the performance is happening and when it's on the phone. That's so live, it's ridiculous. And to deliver that and create and sync it up, to be able to stream the data and make it work is a massive challenge.
Being able to rely on the UK's #1 network, on E5G, has meant that we're able to try things really that are way further down the line. Being able to test that on 5G, where the rollout of that across the country is going to completely change the whole experience for everyone. It's kind of been a little bit like playing with future technology a little bit.
So what you're seeing around is our OptiTrack cameras. We have 36 cameras in this studio. And what these cameras do, they're looking for retroreflective markers, which are placed onto the performers, which drive the skeletal animation that we've seen on the screen and on the further application that's been developed. We use about 50 markers on the performer to form its skeleton, and that data gets streamed onto multiple different platforms where we apply characterizations and send them all through together with face capture and fingers as well.
I mean, you become a little kid again with this sort of stuff when you see some new technology and you're able to move around and you can see that it's you. Having this kind of two-way tech thing going where it's on screen, but also you can move around me in the space, and a lot of us performers haven't been able to perform for a while, so to be able to do something extra special, put myself in their homes and have a party with them on the night, it's going to be great.
We're here today in studio here in London rehearsing with Liam as he's rehearsing for the AR live performance. We wanted to highlight the potential of the 5G to transform the future of entertainment, giving fans a front row seat and enabling them to enjoy real live performances on the go, even in the busiest locations. What's so cool about the experience is the fact that we get the chance to experience Liam at the comfort of our home or the garden or the kitchen. You can enjoy a one-to-one, private personal performance. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So at the core of all this technology is game engine technology. So it's Unreal Engine, it's Unity 3D, which is bringing all this coming together. And as part of that, what goes into it is talented operators who are doing programming, user interface, user experience, design, game design, environmental design. And these are all the skill sets which I'm assuming that you guys are taking here at this college. And these skill sets are going to be really invaluable. We are always looking out for people who have these skill sets who can come and work on these projects with us to make it really, to bring these projects together. I'll say again, like we do the hardware, we do the mechanics, we can capture the movement, but we need talented people to make that come alive, to do the design, to make the avatars, to make the environments, to make it really interesting. So the college have invested in some inertial suits, and these are the sensor-based ones I spoke about earlier. And they enable you they're totally portable. You can take them to other spaces, and that's full body, fingers, and there's a facial capture system, which means you'll have opportunity to start creating content which you can apply to avatars. You may be familiar with Unreal, have got a system called the Metahumans, where you can almost fairly quickly start retargeting onto avatars which you might make of yourself. So here's a little promo video of the suit systems you guys have got here. So yeah, I mean, I think it's there for you guys to get into. I'm sure there's some internal politics of getting your hands on it, but I mean, it's there. You can use it. You can start creating your own avatars, start driving them, put them into your games, really make use of it. So coming on to kind of what's coming next, what's now. Now is a big thing is about Metahumans, which I think I mentioned a bit earlier. This is a pipeline video showing you how you can drive your avatar, how you can create it and then drive it. And you could drive it with the Noitum suit, which I mentioned earlier. There's a bit of tech which I don't know if the if the college have got it yet, but a scanning technology which enables you to scan someone's face quite quickly. But really, with a few kind of predefined workflow steps, you can get into this and start creating from it quite quickly. So this is Jack. He's from a music band from the 80s. We're recreating him. That's on the left-hand side. That's him now, and we're trying to de-age him and see what else we can do with his back catalogue of music. We can, similar to the avatars type thing. What can we do with these kind of characters and repurpose content they've got from previously. So this is the Metahuman pipeline. I think this process after the scanning, which takes 20 minutes, took an operator about half a day to do, retouch them up. So you can see that we're really getting to the point where rather than having to expect to get the standard of content from Hollywood studios, you can do it quite quickly now. So the opportunity is there, and it's really what you kind of want to make of it. And the last video I'm going to show here is kind of what's a touch onto the future. And it's all about markerless tracking technologies. I was speaking with Jacob a bit earlier. We were talking about what gets you into MoCap, what's the most lowest point of entry, and it's with a webcam and 2D tracking. And if you learn a bit of coding, you can use an openly available programming language to do skeletal tracking front on only. But it's getting to the point now where you can do really quite high fidelity stuff with lots of cameras in various environments. So you don't need to necessarily need to be in a studio. So thank you, everyone.